afternoon once again, and thank you for joining us yet again for another recording of Bhannus Na. यो चाहिँ actually हाम्रो third episode हुनुपर्ने थियो. Now it's become, I think, the fourth episode is going to be of Bhannus Na. Bhannus Na is something that we are attempting with a group that we've formed called Council for Democratic Civic Engagement. And the idea behind it essentially was that about politics, social issues, political camps and political leaders one-way communication what the stakeholders want, what the citizens want, interest a platform session CDC under where our experience so far, and our very brief experience so far, has been that it's very exciting. I mean, the people that we've brought on we've realized that सबैजना ले भन्ने कुराहरु अझै audience त्यसको लागि हुनुपर्छ. Those ideas are interesting, they're exciting, and not enough people who are talking about them. So हाम्रो आजको सेसनमा, and this is for our audience who are joining us today, we thought of doing a session on entrepreneurs, of the entrepreneurs of the municipal areas. And the whole excitement around this thing right now is that the municipal elections have been announced. And they are partyless this time. Aju nomination file garnuko last day ho. And already we have a lot of very interesting candidates. Candidates jo पहिला कहिले पनि तिनीहरुले nomination शायद file पनि गर्दैन थियो होला. Parties को basis मा ticket पनि पाउँदैन थियो. Independent उठ्नु लागि you have to go against parties and no one wants to get into that mess. So it's a very exciting time right now in Gangtok, in all the municipal areas of Sikkim. So we thought, why not bring in the entrepreneurs? And apart from talking politics with them a little bit, also get an idea of what entrepreneurs want from their city. When they decide to set up a business here. All of you, like all four of you, from what we've understood of your businesses, what you've undertaken, it could have been done, you could have gone anywhere and done it. I know, your post-COVID time, work from home, you don't require to be located anywhere. You could have done it from anywhere, but all of you decided to do it from Sikkim, from Gangtok primarily. So just to get an idea of all that. So thank you all for joining us today. We have Pintso Gyatso, who has a company called Our Guest, and what the local community in Gangtok would be more familiar with, I think, would be Let's Local, which is a part of the Our Guest concept. The Our Guest is primarily about networking with homestays all over the Northeast. You've got an office in Shillong as well. We have with us Sonam Gyaltsen, who is Echostream. People have seen him around for a while. He's trained in design, and he's working with a lot of products, product designing in Sikkim. We get to see a lot of interesting things from him, but we've not seen scale yet, right? So we're waiting for that one big thing that catches all of us with in every hand or something like that. Then we had Naresh, Shrestha, who is a lawyer by training and is now an entrepreneur. Started off with Nettle and Fern, is that fair to say? Or is it...
Small department store, Home Depot.
Yes. Oh, Home Depot, yes, of course. He started off with Home Depots, and now we have a lot bigger names in the Home Depot sector. But yes, Home Depot, Nettle and Fern, Loafing around, and his big, what can we call it? His big investment, his big enterprise currently, Gangtok Group, which recently had a very interesting weekend with Women's Day special.
Yeah.
Yes. And joining us also today is Hemlata Agarwal. Yes. You are a Gangtokian, right? Or are you married to Gangtok?
Married to Gangtok.
You are married to Gangtok, but you've been around for a while. 20 years.
25
right?
years.
Yes, 25 years she has been married here. For 20 years she has been running a detox center in Gangtok, which is kind of interesting. I mean, it's one of the new age healing treatment things that we have. So it'll be interesting to see how her business journey started. So now to kind of start the discussions, we will get into the business bit after a couple of questions, but what cannot be ignored is that all of you, it took one phone call, and all of you were convinced कि when we said we are doing this discussion, municipal elections, party lesson. There's a lot of excitement in the air. We want to hear what the entrepreneurs have to say. Gave it a phone call. Now, all of you agreed to join us for this discussion. And frankly, you are not the only people we caught, right? We reached out to a lot of people. We reached out to a lot of established traditional business people, and all of them were not comfortable. And that is primarily because the traditional idea of a businessman has been we don't want to get into politics, we don't want to get into controversies, we don't want to discuss politics, we're not talking about supporting candidates. So, how easy or difficult was it for you to say, okay, yes, I mean, I'd be absolutely fine with sitting in a session in which we discuss municipal elections? Let's start with Pintso.
Hi again. Thanks for having me again.
Yes, yes, thanks for showing up again. You had a
But,
busy weekend.
yeah, we did. It wasn't really much of a thought. You said that you're having this discussion, it's going to be aired on social media, and I didn't really think too much about it because we're all entrepreneurs here, and definitely politics is not something that we're actively engaged in. But we're also citizens, right? And as responsible citizens, we are here to discuss and debate on the relevant topics and issues that come up when it comes to Gangtok and Sikkim, your hometown. So not at all. I don't think any one of us here is sitting down to put across some really crazy opinion here and there. We're all here for a positive reason. We're all just trying to aid and assist the government, the establishment in whatever way we can, so that it's all about moving forward, right? And it's with a very positive intent that all of us are here. So I don't think that's why any one of us were very hesitant about that.
Yes.
So no problem at all.
What about you, Sonam? Like from what I understand, you did follow politics, but this level of engagement.
Yeah, I guess for me, I mean, when the announcement was made by the present government, I think thereon I was like very excited about this entire thing because we have been talking about at different silos about the absence of civil society in politics and decision making and all of that, and this just opened the doors, for people to really come out and speak about civil issues and politics at a very grassroots level, at a micro level. So for me, not only as an entrepreneur but as a member of the civil society, I think for me it became a really nice, thing for to really engage into discussions which is actually really care about and to talk about politics at a not only at a micro level but at a macro level, and just be independent about it. Not really align ourselves to certain parties or ideologies, but really stick on to what you could probably do at an individual level.
Mhm.
So that excited me quite a lot. And then I saw the first episode of the CD and I was like, yeah, this is it. You're going to call me, I'm just going to go. I was waiting for that call. And
Yeah,
my
waiting
God,
for
I was
that yeah. I mean, and coming to Naresh, because I mean, like, we go back a while, right? Even if we kind of were formally introduced much later, but it was many years back, more than a decade back, that you, in some capacity, were trying to support this protest that was going on against highway projects, right? Can we safely say that that was your first kind of direct interaction with politics?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so, how has the experience been? Like, did you keep track of politics, or did you just say, "Yes, I'll just do my business"? And
I've always been interested in politics. I follow it keenly, like not only in Sikkim but elsewhere around the world. And that was my first, just straight out of college. Like most young people are, like full of idealism and stuff like that. And I saw what was happening post the 2003 Electricity Act, like that was passed. What was happening to Sikkim. I actually had a feeling of what was happening. So with that, we got involved with trying to help ACT friends who were on hunger strike with trying to spread their message from on social media and stuff like that. And those days, there wasn't much. There was no Instagram, Facebook, and other mediums. It was just a blog. So that's how we began. But yeah, politics, I've always been interested in it, though I'm not actively engaged in it. But I guess, since I have a degree in political science and also practice law briefly, so I do tend to understand it, from a different perspective.
And you're being an entrepreneur, you think does not
Yeah, I think
sometimes give you a second thoughts. Maybe I should be more controlled about my comments.
I'm not really like vocal or anything, but yeah, everybody I guess has their political views and points, but it depends like where you want to vent it out and what kind of platforms and all. So as long as you know where to draw the line, but you can still get your point to be heard.
Yeah, yeah. And Hemlata, तपाईं चाहिँ अब you are now married into a very old Gangtok family.
Yes.
Which I mean, even if they don't directly, we see them in the political space. I'm sure like the politics does touch them. So how do you look at your, let's say, is the political environment in Sikkim tolerant of business people also having a political opinion, or is there always a risk? What do you feel?
ओके नमस्कार आज म तपाईँहरूकोबाट जब कल आयो अन्त मैले सोचेँ कि यो एउटा सिक्किममा केही नयाँ हुँदैछ एन्ड इट वाज वन्डरफुल अपर्च्युनिटी फर मी टु जोइन यु गाइज पोलिटिक्समा म एक्चुअली छैन बट आई थिङ्क यो सेसन जुन चाहिँ छ यसमा हामी बिग पोइन्ट्स अफ एन्टरप्रेनर एन्ड वाइ दे आर सफरिङ यो सब इम्प्रुभ गर्नुको लागि केही मतलब रिजल्ट पाउँछ कि भनेर म यता जोइन गर्नु
Yes. I mean that is primarily what we're looking at, right? If we can at least identify some issues that work like that. But yeah, I mean just continuing with the politics bit, the current municipal election session a bit before we dive into the entrepreneurial side of things is. Like you did say that you were quite excited when the policy decision was made that party-less election will serve Sikkim. But when you're actually seeing it happen, because for the last 1 week we're actually seeing, okay, this is actually happening, right? So what has your level of engagement been, and how closely are you following this? How excited are you about this process?
I think quite a lot actually. Basically now that you're seeing a lot of candidates' faces on social media and all that, then we start discussing about the person, and we not only from a point of view of like how good the person is, but whether he or she is going to be able to run the city and solve the problems or not. So we having discussions at many different levels. We have never seen these kind of things before. We wouldn't hardly care about these things, right? Because we would be saying that okay, this party, that party, they will do something and all that. You just keep quiet and just go and vote on the voting day and just listen to who your parents are going to say. Vote here, vote there. You won't even say why. Now the candidates are actually making an effort to reach out to people, communicate with people, and talk to us, right? And that is a nice level of engagement, and when someone actually wants to talk to you and listen and discuss things, and that's for us is like a, it's a very progressive approach, and I find that that's like true development, when you really look at it, when you start engaging and start, discussing issues rather than just having like a, you don't even care, you don't even see how these policies are made, right? So here, your people are actually, I can see some really nice faces, and I think thanks to this party listing, others would have never seen them.
Even make the attempt.
Yeah, or they would never make that attempt. Who would risk their business or their things and many other things, right? Whatever the whole thing comes out in politics. Nobody would even want to talk about it. But this is something, we can really openly talk about it. I can, if today you ask me some people who are you going to endorsing, I can very openly go in and say, I want to endorse this guy. Because for me, I can connect to that candidate and not to a party. And that's real power. That's if you're able to do that, then we can really have some.
Yeah, I mean, I think conversations begin from there. Yes.
Yeah.
And Pintso, for instance, like, I mean, is it the concept that excites you that this is going to be partyless and that you can just look at candidates and not look at party? Because there's a double, like you mentioned, right? Like, I like the candidate, but he belongs to the wrong party, and that like kind of seals the deal. So for you, how has it been? Like, is it the concept that has excited you, or has the actual delivery, how things are you following it closely enough to say, okay, the concept was good. Now what I'm seeing happening is it kind of lives up to it. This is the first time it's happening, so we've got to kind of make some
Yeah, this is the first time I'm actually following
municipal
a municipal
Any
election. No, I mean municipal election.
Municipal
at least, you know,
election.
like. But the way I look at it is, again, it's a very forward movement that I'm looking at. You know, हाम्रो सिक्किममा एउटा भनाइ नै छ नि, जे राम्रो कुरा भयो भए पनि लाइक त्यो त हुँदैन, you know, you start some new enterprise, त्यो फेल खान्छ. It's a very pessimistic,
Yes,
you know,
almost
outlook.
fatalistic.
Yeah, almost fatalistic. Yeah. And the same thing, the first reactions I heard was from you know, friends and colleagues, like partyless भन्छ लास्टमा पार्टी के त हुन्छ, right? But that's not the way I'm looking at it. I'm excited because it might actually end up being supported by a party. Okay, fine, but the direction is good.